In a world where bibliotheory tries to sound cool, he does not. Or does he?
No! It's just dumb!
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining in. Today, we are going to dive into some more upcoming and newly released indie books that should be maybe on your radar, because they look pretty dang cool, and I'm excited to go through these new examples here given to me a few weeks ago. So if you're ready to dive into some indie books, let's dive into it. Alright, for you guys who do not know, this is another episode of the Indieverse where I do cover new and upcoming indie releases because I think they deserve some spotlight because these books look freaking amazing. All the books I covered up to this point look phenomenal, so I'm excited to go into some more books that have just came out not too long ago. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is actually coming from an author named Yuval Kordov, where he's telling us that he is currently working on the conclusion to his Dark Legacies trilogy. Books 1 and 2 are on sale now, so the timing couldn't be better. And I apologize if you're watching this video and these books aren't on sale at this given time. I'm sorry. But at least you're going to be aware of these books, so let's click on this one and check it out real quick. Alright, again, this is called The Hand of God, book number 1 in the Dark Legacies series. And the first thing I have to say is that I love this cover here from Yuval Kordov. It looks like there's this crazy looking mech beast down here at the bottom. I love mechs. I personally have not read any books that have a mech inside of it, but I love games, video games that have mechs, like a game called Haken. I really enjoyed that, so I really like this font here that says, the Hand of God with this sun icon at the top there with the sun in the background. It looks super ominous, looks super cool, and it makes the scene look really tense. But let's check it out real quick here. The world ended twice. It's the year 2050, give or take. 2 reborn nations vie for humanity's future. Hell is on the horizon. Who will survive? For fans of Dan Simmons' Hyperion Cantos. Did you just say Hyperion? Well, sir, you have now my attention. Ian Banks' culture novels, Dune, and other classic metaphysical science fiction. Yeah, this is sounding very cool so far, and I am a huge fan of Hyperion, which you might already know if you're watching this channel. In the West, Cathedral unleashes its god engines, ancient walking war machines, in a final bid to cleanse the earth. Yeah, this is sounding right up my alley, and right now it's sitting at a 4.6 out of 5 with 58 ratings, so that is super high, and you have my interest, man. It looks fantastic, and that, again, he's telling us that the conclusion is coming out not that far into the future, so maybe that should be on your radar. And again, that's called The Hand of God by Yuval Kordov. Alright, the next book is going to come from Timo Burnham, with this book being called Dawn of the Black Sun, which has a very cool looking cover here with this guy that has this lightning eyes holding some sort of power in his hands. And this guy at the bottom is holding 2 swords. I always can get behind stories where characters have 2 swords wielding them at the same time. One example is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I absolutely love that story where he dual wields 2 swords. And we got this guy in the background too, looks kind of ominous. Maybe he's some sort of god-like creature, I'm not sure, but so far it's looking really cool here. And Timo is telling us it's an Asian-inspired progression fantasy with an emotional heart. In a world with martial arts demigods, a young boy must make the climb to the top of the tallest mountain to train with legends. And book number 2 is coming out here pretty soon. A fisherman's son who has lost everything, a wandering master haunted by regret, an exile wielding a sword that speaks. Swords that speak. Very cool. I like that a lot. I really enjoyed that in the Stormlight Archive series. So I'm interested to see what the sword has to say. So far, everything by you, Timo Burnham, is looking great. I love the lightning eyes. I love the cover, and you got my interest. Also, it's sitting at a 4.4 right now with 35 ratings here on Amazon, so maybe go check that one out. Dawn of the Black Sun. Or the next book is going to come from the Break-Ins author, with that being Z.S. Diamanti. Diamanti. Hopefully I'm saying the last name right. If not, I apologize, sir. So right here, we're looking at the Stone and Sky series, with this one being book number 1 that came out in August of last year. And I love the cover here. We have this guy holding this glistening, gleaming sword of blue something on the sword, holding it up, ready to battle. Riding this griffin creature that looks like it has a hawk head and a lion body. Very cool. And he's telling us that from across the sea, a shadow rises. A lone survivor may be the kingdom's only hope against annihilation. Come fly away on Griffinback. Buy Stone and Sky to join the battle today. Yeah, so far, it's looking great. Also, his website is very cool, very easy to scroll through. Orn is a sworn protector. As a steward member of the Griffin Guard, he's proud to protect the kingdom against a dreaded nation of orcs. Orcs! I am a big fan of orcs, and if you are as well, maybe another book you can check out is by John A. Douglas called The Black Crown. But when the fires of war burn bright from the north, his entire squadron falls to deadly Wyvern riders, leaving the devastated Orn bloody and alone. Again, that is Stone and Sky by Z.S. Diamanti. Alright, the next book is going to come from another The Break-Ins author, with that being Sam Paisley with his debut novel here, The Elements of Time, The Winds of Change. It has this very, very cool cover here that has so much going on here. We have this crazy orb, a dome of power here with something hitting it from the side. We got this guy lifting up in the air, looks like some sort of magician or something, and these two young looking guys as well holding these elements of power for fire and wind right there. Holding almost looks like a red lightsaber, but not necessarily. But yeah, there's a lot going on in here. And I also love the name too, The Elements of Time. Destiny, personal responsibility, what holds the future. Common concerns for anyone graduating high school, but usually not because of a cosmic war between timeless beings where you are the central player. So yeah, that first sentence I just read is a little bit crazy because on one hand we have high school and then we have cosmic wars. So, whoa. As the end of school quickly approaches, Cooper Bailey watches his perfect world slip away. His only concern is savoring every last minute of his high school career. For his best friend, Reed Patterson, graduation is a doorway to the future where his discipline and focus will finally allow him to meet his true potential. Yeah, this sounds very intriguing, very cool. We have a lot going on here. Maybe it has some sort of school trope. I love school tropes in terms of like an academy setting. And also we have all his mystic powers going on here too. So yeah, I am sold. Again, Sam, thank you so much for sending me the book as well. I have it on my shelf right behind me. And again, that is called The Elements of Time, The Winds of Change. You guys are not going to believe it, but our next book comes from another The Break-Ins author, with that being Adrian M. Gibson, with his debut novel being called Mushroom Blues, which comes out on March 19th, so not that far from now. But right at the top of the bat, we have Blade Runner, True Detective, and District 9. These three things are all things that I love, so combining those into a single book is very, very intriguing, so I am digging this so far. And looking at the cover real quick, the cover is absolutely epic here. We have like this cyberpunk type of feel in terms of the city in the background, but these mushrooms that are attached to the city as well, and this guy that's lighting a cigarette that has a mushroom for a head. See, this seems very different and unique, absolutely. Enter the Fungalverse. Beat the Winter Blues. 2 years after a devastating defeat in a decade-long spore war, the island nation of Hapan and its capital city of Neo-Kinoko are occupied by invading Corporean forces. Its fungal citizens are in dire straits, racked by food shortages, poverty, and an influx of war refugees. Even worse, the corrupt occupiers exploit their power, hounding the native population. And this seems completely unique. All the things that I love, Blade Runner, True Detective, District 9, yeah, I am definitely going to read this one in the future. And again, that comes out on March 19th of 2024. Alright, so what's absolutely crazy is that the next book is by another The Break-Ins author, with that being Andrew Watson, who is also a YouTuber that has a fantastic channel as well, with his book being called Harbinger of Justice. And the title alone is just so cool as well. And Andrew is telling us that he released Harbinger of Justice just last year, and he's releasing a prequel novella and the sequel in this year, 2024. So looking at the cover real quick, we have like a cityscape going on right here. We have this ominous looking tower in the background. This guy right here in the middle is just looking at this girl. It looks like she's selling some sort of bread or something. And then we have this cute little fox right here in the middle as well. So all things that are very cool. So Harbinger of Justice. This is going to be book number 1 in the Shadowbinders trilogy. Upon the black sand and beneath the ever-watching eyes, a tale of shadow magic and ancient mysteries unfold in this new, dark epic fantasy series for fans of Brandon Sanderson and Chris Wooding. I know I'm a big fan of Brandon Sanderson, so maybe I should also check out Chris Wooding because I have not heard of this author before. In the desert city of Yantar, Naya cares for her sick mother, but when Naya is arrested, her mother's death is all but certain unless Naya joins a secret project that promises her freedom, if she survives. Again, that is called The Harbinger of Justice by Andrew Watson, which is available today with a prequel novella and the sequel coming out in 2024. Alright, the next book is going to come from Michael Michel, with that being The Price of Power. And he's telling us that it's a story of loss, redemption, grief, and the dangers of belief. Game of Thrones meets X-Men in this gritty epic fantasy. Wow, that's a combination I have not actually read before. Game of Thrones meets X-Men, that's a very intriguing idea there. This book feels like a worthy successor to some of the great fiction, including Malazan, A Song of Ice and Fire, and The Wheel of Time. Those are huge works for sure, so being compared to those is huge. A huge win here for Michael Michel here, so let's go check it out a little bit. First thing I have to say is that I think the cover looks super cool here. I love the white space in the background with this guy holding out this sword like he's about to duel someone or challenging someone that's, off screen here. What's interesting is that when I'm looking at this, I can definitely see potentially some Game of Thrones in here, but X-Men? That is very interesting. Prince Baradane could not hold back the darkness, not even in himself. He laid an innocent city in its grave and then died a hero. That sounds like the opposite of what you would expect when destroying a city. You would think that people would be a little bit upset about their city being destroyed, but in this case, we have a hero among our hands. In his absence, war whispers across the land. Power-hungry highborn dispatch spies and assassins to the shadows as they maneuver for the throne, while an even greater threat rises in the south. Monsters and cultists flock to the banners of the mad prophet determined to control reality, and then shatter it. Wow. So, yeah, that sounds absolutely awesome so far. Game of Thrones, X-Men, the grimmest and darkest thing in the world. Yeah, this is looking very promising here. A 4.4 out of 5 stars with 122 ratings so far. Again, that's called The Price of Power, book number 1 in this series by Michael Michel. Alright, the next book is going to come from B.S.H. Garcia, with her book being called From the Depths, The Heart of Quinaria, a novella. And first thing I have to just point out is that this cover is absolutely stunning here. We have this crazy looking beast here in the background that's contrasting against that white. I absolutely love the color scheme going on here, this blue against the white. And then these two people here just standing looking at this massive creature from the depths. So overall, the cover is absolutely stunning here. The world can sustain the needs of many, but the greed of a few can destroy it all. In a life steeped in peril, the Brune family has thrived on the knife's edge. Renowned for their smuggling and bounty exploits, Konar and Carlia's parents command both respect and fear. Comfortable, yet haunted, the family faces the constant threat of perilous assignments, leaving scars that even parents' protective embrace can't heal. And this is a book that's coming out in February. This month, I'm recording this right now, so in 8 days. So this, again, is a novella, so it's only 161 pages. But so far, it's looking super, super cool. The cover is stunning. The description also very intriguing. So again, be on the lookout for that. Coming out here pretty soon by B.S.H. Garcia. Alright, the next book is going to come from Edward Artis, with that being Beautiful World, with the author being Bill Sharrock. Beautiful World is a take on modern society's image culture told through a dystopian setting. It tells the story of how people lose their individuality in exchange for a recipe of beauty and popularity. In a broken future, ink-like stains have appeared on people's skin, splitting the world in two. Now the beautiful people all wear masks, living in a luxurious haven kingdom where strict beauty laws are enforced. The other stainers are segregated into a lawless life in the Outlands ruled by chaos and warlords. So yeah, that's a very interesting idea that I have not read before, but I can tell you that the ink-like stains kind of remind me of the Lycanius trilogy a little bit in terms of those people with the stains across their eyes, meaning that they are locked. This is a book that's coming out next month, March 10th, so be on the lookout for that. Beautiful World by Bill Sharrock, with Edward Artis being the illustrator. Our next book is going to come from Charles Hack, with that being called Shrouded in Darkness, in his Space Warfare Group series. And this looks like it's book 2 in his Space Warfare Group series, so before I dive into this, I'm going to go look at book number 1, which is called Into the Darkness. That has a very cool looking cover that kind of reminds me of Call of Duty, but in space, with these spaceships kind of flowing in the background there. And this guy that looks like a Call of Duty Black Ops agent. The Space Warfare Group books are a new kind of space thriller and hardcore military action, dark political conspiracies, and a compelling world building. When the princess of an unfamiliar alien planet fails to arrive in time for a diplomatic summit with humanity's top government officials, and your spaceship is found floating in dead space, the Space Warfare Group is called into action. Mac faces the most difficult mission on his prestigious career, pushing him beyond the breaking point. Will he find the princess evil lurking in the shadows? Yeah, this sounds like a good mix in terms of sci-fi and fantasy. We have a princess on one side, then we have a space warfare group on the other side. And right now this book is sitting at a 4.2 with 219 ratings on Amazon so far. So that is a fantastic amount, and a 4.3 with 105 ratings on Goodreads. So that, again, is called Into the Darkness by Charles Hack. And again, book number 2 is called Shrouded in Darkness, and that one actually came out back in June of last year, so be on the lookout on that. Book number 2 already has 105 ratings, which is fantastic. So congrats on that, Charles. And there we have it, everybody. 10 more books add to your TBR, or be on the lookout. They're coming out very soon. And if I missed your book on this list, I apologize, but be on the lookout for my next post where I'm looking for more indie books, because there's so much more that I want to cover. So which of these books looked most interesting to you? Let me know down below in the comments. Or if you have another book that you know of that I did not cover here. And again, for sticking around this long, you've earned 1 XP token. If you're already a subscriber, you get an extra XP token. So here you go. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Keep reading, and peace.